Yes.
Why?
Well, we figured we'd come here.
It's not going to be a wall.
Why not?
Well, for one, the wall itself will cost like $814 million just to make.
Isn't Bernie's plan like $1 trillion?
Confirmed kill.
He's not trying to destroy the economy.
Someone beg to differ, but I think we can all be unified here by helping build the wall.
We're not helping to build anything. We're helping to kick people out of this country. The Mexicans themselves aren't the problem. It's the big corporations that are a problem. Start punishing the corporations. Stop being a racist.
Stop being a racist.
I'm just not understanding how we can't afford a wall, but we can afford all of Bernie's plans, because his are actually more expensive.
His are paid for by the people, not billion-trillion-dollar companies.
I thought they were paid for by millionaires and billionaires.
They're paid by the people. Like me, like my mother. And let me tell you something. None of Trump is American. All of his family, all of his wives, everything of him is immigration. His wife is from the Czech Republic. Is he trying to kick her out?
No, of course not.
His parents aren't American, trying to kick them out?
No, they moved illegally.
His children, they aren't fully American, they plan to kick him out?
Pretty sure that all these people moved here legally, though.
Okay, so you're saying that just because...
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
Let me just say this is a Bernie rally. Try going to like the zoo.
Well, that's a very clever suggestion.
Or the depths of hell itself. Have a good day.
Sassy. I think this is...
I may be sassy, but...
Man, I feel like a woman.
I don't know what that means, sir. Ma'am.
You identify yourself as gay. Why do you then choose, because it is a choice, why do you then choose to be a Muslim when it says explicitly within Islam, within Judeo-Christian tradition, that that is prohibited? It's a choice.
I would just like to say that sexual orientation is not a choice. It's not a choice at all.
It's a choice for you to be Muslim.
But why
so
can't
why
you
would you?
be
No,
Muslim
don't get
still?
involved in this. Why would you choose to be a Muslim? Why would you choose to be a Muslim if in the Quran it says that that is prohibited? It's a choice at the end of the day. You can choose to be a Muslim or you
It
can
doesn't say in
choose
the
not to
Quran
be.
that it's prohibited. What is prohibited
no, it does.
is the
Surah
act.
Surah Al-Araf, I can give you the ayah that it says it in.
I am not here to talk about that one
What would you
act.
do
What
if
I
you
am
were-
here to
Hang
talk about...
Let Asif
Can I
speak,
talk,
please.
please?
Let Asif speak. Let him respond to your question.
I am not here to talk about that one act. What I'm here to talk about is love. Love between two men, two women.
When will it be okay and accepted to be gay in Islam? That is not, it's a loaded question, but I'm sorry. You either be gay or you be Muslim. No one is forcing you to be a Muslim.
I think that is totally wrong.
Yeah, lady here in the blue.
I think that is totally wrong. I mean, I was brought up in an Islamic household. I'm from an Islamic community. I'm from a very conservative Pakistani community. If my mum and dad can accept me, why can't the wider community accept me for who I am?
Just lady in the blue, and then we'll come to Nikki.
I personally think that the question you're asking is when will the Muslim community accept you as a gay person, accept gay or homosexuality? The thing is, homosexuality is not accepted in Islam, so the Muslim community will never accept homosexuality in a whole. But you being gay, not on a judgmental level, you can be gay, but then at the same time, if you choose to follow a religion which prohibits homosexuality, then you can't turn around and ask when will they accept for you to be gay.
Can I just say then? Can I just say, what are people like me meant to do then? You know, gay teenagers, the suicide rate is going up, homophobic crime is going unreported, and it's because of attitudes like this that is causing people like me such dilemma.
The danger with literalism is in insisting that there is only one interpretation and one way of doing things. If we take that literally, if we take literalism literally, then only 200 years ago, slavery was accepted and justified by religion. Let me finish. The Quran explicitly and literally, let me finish and make this point. The Quran literally allows for slavery, as does the Bible, but we no longer practice it because our attitudes and interpretations have changed. There is no one Muslim community. There is no one way of interpreting things. If he wants to identify as being Muslim, as this gentleman here said, Abdullah, he said he's not going to tell him he's not a Muslim, and I applauded him for that. He said he's not going to discriminate against him. You just did. And so even he disagrees with you. Yes, you did. Everyone does. Everyone does.
In regards to what you said about interpretation, you're pushing the idea that there is no true interpretation of Islam. By that exact logic, you're saying that the people, the extremists, right, their interpretation of religion is also valid. There is mainstream Islam. There are things that are universally accepted within Islam. For example, the gentleman brought up the idea of drinking, of doing drugs, you know. Those things are prohibited within Islam. I can choose not to do them, or I can. But for me to go out and say, I'm a Muslim and I drink and that should be accepted, that's not religion. That's not what you're subscribing to.
You're conflating choice and how somebody is without choice. That first of all, he was born the way he is, and I'm sure he can speak for himself. What I would like to say to you is, many Muslims would consider you sinful for not covering your face and would insist that you're sinful and you can't be a Muslim for showing your face and not wearing the jilbab, the long gown. So at the end of the day, this is all interpreted. And just as you've got the right, in fact, they'd also... Please, let me respond to you, please.
No, because you're going into all
No,
sorts of
I'm talking about
avenues
interpretation. Can I just finish my point?
Go ahead, go
They would
ahead.
also say that you shouldn't be speaking in front of men, you shouldn't be on television.
Oh, come
There are
on.
literalists who argue that too. We know that because they're empowered.
Let's just go back to Abdullah quickly, everyone.
Now I know you guys are probably wondering what the fuck is going on here. From what I gather, this man exposed himself to these feminists during one of their slut walks, where they also expose themselves. I guess these feminists don't really believe in equality.
For Breitbart News, and Nomiki Konst, founder and executive director of the Accountability Project. All right, so at the beginning, I just want to separate, for the purposes of this discussion, what's happening at the University of Missouri on the race front, which is very charged, and you can understand some upset over what's happened with the race issues. Separate that for today from call the cops on this campus if someone hurts your feelings. If someone hurts your feelings, and that woman at Yale yelling at the professor for saying, I think Halloween costumes should be allowed and we shouldn't be censoring them. How do you sleep at night? I'm going to leave. Good, go. I mean, I look at that. You tell me, Nomiki, because you're going to defend these people. Of course. I look at that and say, I can't wait for my kids to get out there in the world against these people. I can't wait. Well, they're going to kick some... That's my reaction. Am I wrong?
Well, okay, to be fair, these are not administration, these are students. These are 20-year-olds who are reacting, and it's a very racially charged environment. You know, words matter. And so when that letter was sent on behalf of an administration official, somebody who's supposed to represent the students, to create, you look at the documents that Yale sends out, the application documents, and it's all about having an inclusive community.
This guy was defending Halloween.
Well, he wasn't defending Halloween. He was defending being offensive to a community of of people that are being marginalized. I mean, 7% of the Yale...
He was saying if you want to go as Tatiana, the frog princess,
blackface.
you should be allowed to.
No. He was acknowledging that someone who shows up in blackface, it's okay, it's a joke.
And you think that should be banned? You should, Halloween, that should be banned. And what if you want a guy who wants to dress like a girl? Should he be banned?
Listen, there are the stereotypes. There's plenty of stereotypes that we have changed over time. Things that would now be totally unacceptable. We had this debate about things 10
gender
years ago.
expression would be offensive if you want. So
Well,
a
that's a separate
guy
debate.
dressed up as a female nurse.
That's not for white people to determine. That's not. These things are not for the people who are doing it to determine. It is for those who feel hurt. If you feel hurt,
Oh,
you
that's
have the
fantastic.
right.
I hope you have young kids like just exactly my kid's age. Ben, you take it. I understand the offense. I understand you go to the race place and all that what happened with the swastika, but you can't wear the Halloween costume you want unless no one finds it offensive.
Well, now the selectively offended get to run the rest of the country. I mean, this is what we are creating. We are creating a society of panty-waist fascists. What we are creating is a group of people who are oversensitive to everything and then are willing to call the cops as soon as they are offended. It's actually incredible, and it's a violation of the First Amendment, which you saw with a professor from the Mass Communications Department at Missouri telling reporters that they have no right to be there, and at Yale you have students shouting people down. If this is the climate that we're supposed to create, if this is supposed to create openness and tolerance on the campus, I'm missing the openness and tolerance in let's call the police if I'm mildly offended because my feelings have been hurt. I mean, this is creating a country of crazy people. How can you watch this and not go crazy and think that everyone who's involved in it is crazy in the first place?
How about that woman from the communications department, Nomiki?
Listen.
Shutting down the student reporters from
agree with
filming the
that.
protests she was promoting. Guess how you promote them? Put them on
Exactly.
TV.
I do agree with that, and I think that Josh Earnest has said the same thing. There's a very thick line between being politically incorrect and being racist, and words matter. So when a community of people that has been perpetually marginalized at institutions across America over history feels offended, we should acknowledge that. And I think that these protests are a reflection of a community of minorities that feel unacknowledged and not respected. And so, Ben, I read your article today, and I was shocked by the language you used. You were saying that it's time for the right
call the police
to
right now.
fight. Yeah. No, but you read his column.
Evidence. All this is screaming and feelings. How about like a shred of evidence, even for the incidents that actually happened at Missouri that drove this? Really? Where was the police report exactly when it came to, for example, the first N-word incident that led all of this? There was no police report on any of that. In the second incident, at the N-word at the University of Missouri, the administration investigated, and the kid's under investigation. In the third incident with the cop car, with the car hitting the guy.
Let me just ask you this, because we're short on time. You tell me, Nomiki, whether we are training these kids to be little cupcakes who never have to encounter anything offensive. Assuming everything you said is offensive, they never have to encounter it because they can call the cops or they can get their administrators fired, or whether it's better to educate them that there are offensive things in life, there are insulting things in life, there are people who will say very incorrect or impolite things about you, politically incorrect things about you, very publicly and in a way that you might feel very offended by, and you have to deal with that in life.
I think
you have
people
to deal
understand that, but I think that, this is a blame the victim situation. We should be ridding the world of bigotry. We should be talking about that rather than blaming it on the victim who feels hurt, disrespected on campus, who doesn't feel heard by their administrators.
I love that utopia. It doesn't exist. It's not realistic. It does not exist. Good luck getting rid of all the bigotry.
The victim.
Well, we can
all the
look at
bigotry.
it.
We're just going to wipe the world. We'd love to,
progress.
but it's not reality.
They
I gotta
literally just fired a white guy for being a white guy, and he's the victim.
Okay, I got to go.
Not true.
Great debate. Thank you both for being here. Up next is the FBI ramping up its investigation